Be confident, be bold, be authentic, but don't forget to take action. This is Ordinary to Badass, where our stories empower women to step into the spotlight of their own lives and pursue what they're truly passionate about. It's time to step into the arena and become more than just extraordinary. It's time to become a badass with your host, Marie Sonneman.
Welcome to Ordinary to Badass, episode number 89. In this episode, I share why Cherie Lowe is so badass. Did you catch last episode of the podcast, episode number 88? So in that episode, I interviewed Cherie and heard her badass story. She is the queen of free, and not without good reason. Her and her husband paid off $127,000 in debt. I will say that again. They paid off $127,000 in debt in just under 4 years. How badass is that? So I thought that was pretty freaking awesome. And in this episode, I will share the reasons why I think she's so badass, beyond paying off the $127,000 in debt. Before we get to the episode, I would love for you to join the Ordinary to Badass Facebook group. We can do a deeper dive on the conversations that are in the podcast within the group. So if there's something you hear that intrigues you in a podcast episode, you certainly would want to jump over to the Ordinary to Badass Facebook group so that we can do a deeper dive on the conversation that you heard here. All right, now to the episode. Welcome to Ordinary to Badass. Whether you're ordinary or badass, I am glad you're here. Today, I am going to share 4 reasons why Cherie Lowe is so badass. First reason that I think she's so badass is her and her husband dreamed big together. The second reason is she said to find yourself people who are on the same journey as you. Third, you could either say this will be miserable, or you can find what's a treasure for free. And in that, she's talking about the debt-free journey. And 4, she said, surprise someone who doesn't expect it. I loved those 4 things and think they were super badass, or make her super badass. Let's get into it now. All right. So Cherie said, dream big together. If you and your husband are trying to get out of debt, or not you and your husband, just you and your spouse are trying to get out of debt, dream big with them. Cherie talked about how in the beginning, like years before they started their debt-free journey, how she could not get into the debt-free thing. Like her husband had tried to propose that to her, like, hey, let's get our finances in order. Let's get debt-free. And she wanted no part of it. And she said part of that was because he was just trying to push it on her. And it wasn't until they started dreaming big together that it really became important, or she could see something bigger than the moment that they were in right then. So I thought that was really cool. And dreaming big is huge. I don't know what it is, but it seems like people often don't dream big anymore, because when you dream big, like it can be scary. It's like, what if I have this big bodacious dream and it doesn't come true? That's a letdown. So dream big. Who cares if you have a big crazy dream and you don't get there? But you never can get there if you don't at least dream it. So dream big. If you're working on getting out of debt, then dream of all of the things that it could provide for you and your family. What could getting debt free help you guys with? What could What would it mean to be able to pay off your kids' college? Like, just to have the cash in hand, what would that mean? How would it feel to have your house paid off? How much extra money would you have? Like, there are so many possibilities here. So when it comes to your finances, and actually when it comes to life, just dream big. And if you're married, include your spouse in that journey. The second thing that I thought was so badass about Cherie Lowe was she said, you can either say this will be miserable, becoming debt free, or you could say, what treasure is for free? She said sometimes we misconstrue what's important to us. And she talked a little bit about how much she enjoys sweet tea, and she makes it on her own, so it's pretty much free. And she also enjoys sweating, like working out. Both of those things are absolutely free. Oftentimes, our joy does not come from objects or things that we can buy. It comes from just the tiny things in life, just the simple things. And so maybe that's something to evaluate. What do you have right now in your life that you just absolutely appreciate, that it makes you feel like you're indulging when you do it, or just by the fact that you have it? I will tell you, I love my coffee. I love to have coffee when I wake up in the morning, and it's simple, right? It's simple to have a Keurig and just pop in a coffee or whatever, and that's typical in this day and age. However, I love it. And then this costs just a little bit of money, but I love my sugar-free Italian creamer. It is amazing. And they stopped selling it for a couple months during coronavirus, and I was terrified that I had lost it forever. And like my sister and I were so upset because we didn't have that sugar-free creamer anymore. And I was like, darn it, because I just didn't like any other type of sugar-free creamer. And it took me so long to like actually switch from the regular version to the sugar-free version. So I was worried that I would not, like if I went back to the regular, that I would not want to switch back to the sugar-free again. But anyway, it came back and I was super excited. It felt like a little slice of heaven, but that's not expensive. That's not going to Starbucks or doing something expensive. It's something relatively cheap that I have at my hand, like that I have at home. So maybe evaluate that for yourself. What do you have that you really appreciate that doesn't cost much? All right. Let me just apologize to you now. I feel like you keep hearing the pitter patter of both of my dog's paws, and I don't know what's going on. They just want to keep moving around. Usually they'll just kind of lay by the chair and be good to go. But today they're constantly moving around. So my apologies. All right. The third thing that Cherie said that I really loved is she said, get yourself some people who are on a same or similar journey as you. Or even if they're not on the similar journey, that they're not going to drag you down. So powerful. This is why I'm always harping on the Ordinary to Badass Facebook group, because it's a group of women who are on a similar journey than you, or similar journey as you, right? You go further together than you do alone. Like, yeah, you can do a lot of stuff on your own, and believe me, I try, but you get so much further when you have the help and support of other people. So if you're trying to do something new, if you're trying to step out of your comfort zone and dream big and do big things, but nobody else around you is doing it, that might be something you want to evaluate. By no means am I saying that you need to drop those people who are staying comfortable in their life. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is maybe you step out of your comfort zone a little bit and you start to look for other people who are on the same journey as you. If your journey is becoming debt-free, okay, find other people who are becoming debt-free. If your journey is to be an entrepreneur, surround yourself by entrepreneurs. Or maybe you want to write a book. So then you surround yourself by authors or other people that are aspiring to be authors. There's so much to be said about having people that are on the same journey as you. And she kind of did that with her debt-free journey. And then also, it sounds like she brought other people along with her. Like other people saw her journey and they wanted to join right in. And another part of this is forget the people that want to drag you down. Sometimes your action is just going to trigger somebody else. It's going to trigger them and their own issues. And you can't do anything about that. But negativity is so toxic. Like if you have people close to you that are constantly dragging you down or talking down about your big ideas or just what you're doing, it's like that's so wildly unhealthy. It's kind of like a vampire. Like they just like suck your energy out because it's just so negative. So maybe you limit your time around those people who are going to be negative about your dreams or what you're pursuing. So I definitely love that Cherie had said, get yourself some people who are on the same or similar journey as you. So I'd love to hear in the Ordinary to Badass Facebook group, what you're doing to be around people that are like you. All right. The fourth thing that Cherie does that is so badass is surprise someone who doesn't expect it. I freaking love that. That's like close to my heart because you can donate to charities. You can do that. That's fine. That's good. But like, I love like the daily stuff. I love the stuff that, when you're able to afford it, that you can just surprise somebody or give something to somebody and not have any expectation of anything in return. It's not even something that's for your taxes or to be recognized for. It's just doing something for somebody because it's the right thing to do. And if I'm being honest, it feels good. It feels good to do something and then have nobody else know about it. And so I think that's so badass to be able to just like buy somebody's dinner or have you ever been to the grocery store and the person in front of you cannot pay? Like they come up short or their card is declined, so they can't pay for the groceries. So maybe if you have enough money to do so, then you pay for their groceries. I mean, can you imagine like the devastation for not being able to pay for something, for food, and then having somebody behind you like pay for that for you? It feels freaking amazing. And it's just kind of your secret with that person. Nobody else really knows. I mean, the grocery store clerk, sure, but it's just something that feels good. And I just don't see it enough. I don't see it enough in today's day and age, and it's certainly never expected. So consider that. Where can you add some surprise into your life? Where can you surprise somebody else? And you know what? If you're not there, if you're not at a place where you can afford to do that, then maybe there's still something free you can do. Maybe there's something you can do to make somebody feel better. Like they could be having a crappy day or a crappy week, and there's something that you can do to surprise them and bring them joy that doesn't have to be financial joy. All right, there you have it. The 4 reasons why Cherie Lowe is so badass is because her and her husband were willing to dream big together. And she talked about what treasure is free, to find people who are on the same or similar journey as you. And she surprises people who don't expect it. Freaking amazing. If you loved this episode or the one prior where we talked to Cherie, if you loved it, I think that it's only right that you take a screenshot and head on over to Instagram, share it in your stories, tag at Ordinary to Badass, that's me, and Cherie, the Queen of Free. And what is one takeaway that you had from this episode or from her episode? What's one thing that you learned from her that you either thought was badass or that you can implement in your life. One takeaway. Coming on the show, it's hard to be vulnerable, to open up, to share your story because you never know how it's going to be received. And you know what? We talked about surprises and surprising someone who doesn't expect it. That's a way to do so, right? Oftentimes people don't share like why something was important to them or what their takeaway was or how something impacted them. Like, she's putting in a lot of work. She's putting in a lot of work for going on people's podcasts or going on, she talked about a news station that she's on or doing all the Instagram stuff, all the social media. But sometimes you don't hear stuff back from people. It's not that people don't get value, but we forget to respond. We forget to tell people what impact what they said had on us. So I think that's really important. And that would be an awesome way to surprise her. And I would like to do that with all of our guests, right? It's important to get feedback on your work and on what you do. So if anything that she said impacted you in any way, definitely take a screenshot of this episode, put it in your Instagram stories, and tag me at Ordinary to Badass and Cherie at the Queen of Free. All right. That's it for today. On Monday, you'll hear from Allison Bullinger, and she is a health coach. I know that you're going to love everything that she has to say, and she totally talks about adding food into your diet as opposed to taking it away, so it doesn't feel so restrictive. You won't want to miss that episode. That's coming Monday. All right, with that, I'm out. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, own it and get after it.
Now that you've listened to this episode of Ordinary to Badass, we want to hear from you. Go to our website, ordinarytobadass.com/podcast, and submit your own experience on how you took your life from ordinary to badass and get the chance to be on a future spotlight episode of the show. That's ordinarytobadass.com/podcast. While you're waiting for the next episode of the show, wipe off the sweat, dust off the dirt, and get back in the arena.